Hey everybody, welcome back to Astronaut Lounge. I'm Poppa Stonks, and today we have Wolf Capital. Wolf Capital is a passive income investment vehicle that has kind of unique staking zap with tiered rewards based on your Wolfpack level, offering 1 to 2% daily return on your investments through external utilities that are bringing in revenue to feed the rewards pool. We've got Trav with us. He is the CEO of Wolf Capital, and I'm just going to pass it off to you, Trav. If you want to come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself, your history in the space, and what made you start this project.
Yeah, so just a little back history. Yeah, I got into crypto about a couple years ago. This is right after COVID. Back then, I was pretty much during COVID. I took a voluntary layoff, so I was trading commodities 24/7. Basically, uh, I already had the income to take the time off. I wanted to spend some more time at home with my family because currently I'm a directional driller. Been direction drilling um, for a good 15 years now. So and it's in the oil field, so I'm constantly gone. Like right now, I haven't been home in probably uh, well, I take that back. I've been home for 5 days and 3 months. So uh, it takes a little toll. So during COVID, took some time off, did commodities, and when the market fell out, uh, I invested just about every penny I had into oil in oil companies. And 2 years later, sold everything for a huge fortune. Um, I consider myself pretty lucky on that one. But at the same time, oil went down to nothing. So it was like free money. Um, After that, I wanted to try the next thing, which was crypto. Had a lot of friends that were involved in it. Started kind of tinkering around and noticed, these sites that, hand out, passive income. I know a real big one when I started in crypto was a COTPS. It ended up being a huge rug pull. Lost, I think, 50K on that one. Kind of pissed me off because I was like, they can do this. Like, where's the oversight? Where's the regulation? Where's the SEC going? No, you can't do that, right? So it was my first go around. Completely sucked. After that, I was actually fixing to hang up and just go back into commodities, leave crypto for somebody else. But then I realized how much money is actually involved in crypto, and there's actually an honest living way to make money. So I looked into doing my own project. Um, Started looking at the miners, and I started WC Miner, which was my first one. Hardly any marketing was involved in it. Uh, didn't really do much. Just it was just an honest guy starting a miner basically. We ended up raising, I don't know, like 80,000. I think was the top limit. It's still running today. I don't even know how much is in there. Um, and then when I did a WC miner BUSD, which that was our kind of where I actually invested quite a bit of money in marketing, kind of learned the ropes of how to boost your project, boost your site, in that aspect. And that one brought like 750 or 780K of total investments. And it was I don't know if y'all remember, uh, shit, what's the name? Um, it's the one everybody was forking at the time, and I jumped on board with it. I can't remember the original. Wealth Mountain, that's it. Wealth Mountain. Um, all the Wealth Mountain forks and the original Wealth Mountain, all basically in the same way. Um, it's just a bank run, basically, because you allow the investor to unstake and you give them crazy yields. You know, there's no way to back it at all. So it's just kind of, if you're first, you're going to make some money. If you're last, you're going to lose money. type of scenario. It was just roll the dice, and I actually hated it. So um, it sucked because of how much money was brought in, and then to see it collapse in 30 minutes was unreal. So I learned from my mistakes on that one. And at the time, I was friends with Ox, who's our dev, he's the number two in Wolf Capital. Um, I hit him up right after W Smider VOSD had finished, and I was going to take a few months off just because of how stressful it is to a project. I didn't want to go right straight into one. I wanted to actually build something that's new, fresh, not a fork, original idea. I had some ideas I gave to him, and he was like, "No, I've got a better idea." So he pitched me his, and so we changed a few things on it, and that's kind of how Wolf Capital started. And we kind of learned from our mistakes because he was also running different projects as well. So he knew his, some of the mistakes he was making. I knew some of the mistakes I was making. And as an economist, realistic person, looking at these projects, the Ponzi-nomics side of it all, um, they're not meant to last, and I didn't want that. I wanted to create something that's actually backed by something. Um, we needed to bring in some kind of external revenue, and so we created Wolf Capital, which is a low yield staking platform. It's backed with the external revenue that we make, generating from the investments from the users. So basically, we take your USDC, we put it into our trading platform, um, and we create divs. The money's been coming in great. We're green week over week. We've I would say last 3 weeks altogether, we've averaged. I would have to average it out, but just as a rough guesstimate, I would say we're probably right around 15 to 16% for the last 3 weeks of profit. We had a really, really big week about 3 weeks ago. I think we brought in right over 300K in profit from our investments, and that's how we're backing that yield that we get out. So the staking platform itself is unique too. It's very innovative. So usually a staking platform, you're by yourself. You stake, your coin, and you give it to them, and they give you a very low yield in return for the year or for 45 days or whatever. What we decided to do was create teams of stakes. So we call them wolf packs. You use that wolf pack and determining how much money is in that wolf pack and how many people are in that wolf pack, you get an extra percentage in your ROI, or 0.1%. We have like 10 levels, so determined based off of that, that kind of brings you in either from 1.5% or at the base of 1%. It was at 2% when we kicked off. Um, our heads were big, egos were big. We thought we could have that Ponzi-nomic gap, and with what we're bringing in and what we owe on the divs and try to close it. It wasn't working. So our bellies were too full and our mouths were too big. So we decided to lower that to 1.5, and within the first week we lowered it. We actually closed that gap. I think we were like 57% behind of that gap, and then at the end of that first week we brought it all the way to 2%. So we're almost back dollar for dollar for everything that's staked, and then what we brought in on our yields from trading. So, but yeah, it's that's pretty much a summary there of Wolf Capital. We got almost 3.9 million in total investments since February 16th, so 85 days. Got 3.8 million in revenue, and we brought in from our divs. I have to look at the exact numbers. I'm trying to pull up my last trading report because we announce it weekly. Oh, and then also all of our trades that happen. We post them in our Telegram channel and in our Discord, and they come in real time. So every time a trade's made, it gets posted, no matter what it is. Even if it's a loss. I mean, we have losses. We have basically our strategy is if you're going to lose a little bit. But when you win, it's it's always a lot. So we try to take advantage of the market's volatility the best we can. We have DCA bots, we have futures bots, we have AI bot, we've got a grid bot that's actually it's not our most profitable, it's our most sustainable. Every week, it's usually bringing in anywhere from 0.9% to 3 to 4% that week, which is really really helpful. It's usually about right around. I usually leave right around 225,000 in that grid bot, so it brings in a nice chunk of change. For example, our last trading port, we have like 2.3 million in our portfolio right now, just from trading. And I think we've only brought in from the staking side. I think it was 1.3 million. So we've almost made almost $1 million in just the portfolio itself, just through our trades. So and we've done that in 2.5 months. So just kind of put that in perspective. We're not the the Indian guy that's running the DApp collecting fees and sitting on their nuts the whole time. We're working hard every day just to bring sustainability to DeFi, and that's kind of been our goal since day one. So yeah, that's pretty much a summary of Wolf Capital, and we'll do my background there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And, I just want to throw out that, I first heard about, about Wolf Capital through another project that is invested in Wolf, and, was telling me during AMA about the returns and how, the returns are good. So let's talk about, so if somebody new wants to come and invest in Wolf. They want to stake some USDC.
Mm-hmm.
Is that locked? Like, is that locked forever? And they just
so
get
each stake is locked for 60 days. We decided to do that because I'm an investor too. So when I invest in something, I want to be able to have my capital back at some point. I don't want to wait for my stuff to ROI in order to take, that money back out. Because I just don't believe that's right. That's almost basically you're stealing their money, in my view, as an investor. So we just do it for 60 days. It gives us enough time to generate some kind of external revenue with it. And then at that point, it's their choice. They can pull it or they can continue getting passive income. So, after 60 days, you have that option. Like I said, we've been running for 85, and I think we've only had I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it's only like 16. I think the last time I looked it up, like 16 wallets have withdrawn, but they're small amounts. Nobody's actually withdrawn anything over 1,000. I'm pretty sure. I kind of keep a pretty close eye on that, just for the fact that if somebody does want to pull out a large amount of money, because we do have some wallets that have staked, 70, 80, 90,000. So, I always try to keep an eye on that. And I believe Ox is in contact with a lot of them daily. So if one of them did want to do that, there's that opportunity that we can maneuver, try to stay ahead of it. But yeah, for the most part, we're just pretty close to backing the entire what's been deposited.
Entire pool.
Yeah, I mean dollar for dollar for what's staked. So we're doing great. I think we've dished out 1.3 million in divs right now. So in 2.5 months, and we're still growing. Our deposits are coming in constant, great growth. But yeah, we're pretty headstrong on marketing too. So we're not sitting around and just doing one campaign in the beginning and let it die out. We've launched several campaigns, fixing to launch another one here this week. So but yeah, it's a lot of work. we're moving all the time. We've got a great team. I think probably one of the best teams in DeFi. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So all right, so you got there's a 60-day lock. Um, but somebody new coming in, they need to join a wolf pack, correct? And
correct. Yeah.
are those open for just anybody to join a wolf pack that has any open slot, or do
Yeah.
they
So
need to
there's
be?
yeah, all the top ones are pretty much are locked up. You can't join through the UI, but if you have somebody that has a referral and you want to join in through their referral, then you can get in those top wolf packs that are locked up. There is a limit. I can't tell you exactly what the limit is. Um, that once it hits, the UI pretty much closes it off to try to slow down the growth of that wolf pack because we want other wolf packs to grow. That was
Mhm.
kind of the idea behind it. And then plus, if you want to start your own, you're welcome to start your own for your community, invite your community and stuff like that. And then we have also a lottery, and that's kind of where the competitive side is. Uh, so the wolf pack that has the most deposits within a 7 day period, uh, once that 7 day period ends, the winner will get the whole wolf pack will have access to the lottery pool, and that pool is 1% of all the deposits that come in during the week. So, for example, I think last week we had 500K in deposits. So you get 1% of that in the lottery pool. If your wolf pack is, say, 100 people, and you guys all brought in the most amount of money that week, um, it's
Everybody gets
that's
$50.
everybody gets a good chunk of change. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. And
Well,
so the wolf
it's not,
packs.
and it's not divvied up based off of equally from the first person to the last person. It's also based on the size of that
Oh,
team stake. So if
yeah,
you say you got Timmy that puts in $20, and then you got Tom that puts in, 100K. Well, Tom's going to get a good chunk of that lottery pool. And Tim's is going to get a little bit. We try to make
right.
it fair so that way everybody that puts in what they put in is what they earn, so to speak.
Okay, good. So, if I create a wolf pack, then if we win the lottery, uh, I'll be getting, the lion's share of
Yeah,
that.
right.
Um, and what is that? Is that capped in numbers or in dollar value for the wolf pack?
Dollar and numbers. So you have to hit two quotas. Um, so to max out your 1.5%, I believe it's 50 people and 100,000. I might be mistaken. I think we've changed it once or twice. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Okay. Now, when people deposit and their money is going into the staking pool and everything. What where does that money then go? I know obviously you take some and you put it towards running the trading bots. Are there any other external investments that Wolf Capital is invested in to return some revenue, or is it strictly just the trading
No, right now it's strictly just trading. So, we kind of have a strategy. We kind of keep it right around 100K in the contract at any given point. Once we kind of reach around that 200K mark in the contract, we do an allocation. Uh, and so we have a multi-sig. So, aux, uh, I'll start the multi-sig transaction. Aux will have to come in and approve it. We mainly do that just to kind of double check because you have to put 18 zeros behind the number that you want out of the contract. So that way
box?
there's not like a typo or whatever. Um, you know, he'll catch it or I'll catch it. Same thing with making any changes to the contract. It has to be a multi-sig verification first. So if he makes a change, I get to double check it, so on and so forth. Just kind of help with security too. We added that feature, and then that goes into the owner's wallet, and then what I'll do is I'll allocate that either to our partners with Big Get, or I'll put it in our uh, other GridBot or other spot trading accounts. We were running on several different central exchanges. It was getting really
Mm,
difficult to try to keep up with everything, so we've lowered that number down. Now we're on three, so majority of the funds are sitting with BitGet just because we're partnered with them. Um, they've been a real huge help. I've gotten to see their numbers, um, so that way I know that they're not just going to fall apart tomorrow. Um, but they're an excellent trading platform. I do recommend using them if you guys are looking to get into trading. They got some really cool features too. So, but yeah, it goes into one of those, and then I allocate a certain percentage to futures, which is our most profitable area, and then the
mm.
rest will go to the rest of the portfolio, adding into the grid bot or DCAs, or just depends on what the market's doing. But yeah, that's how we run.
Okay. And you know, I know you said you're partnered with BitGet. You're not worried about them going under. But obviously, anything can happen in the space, um, as we've
Yeah,
all
I, but
seen.
yeah, I well, just an example. Like I've seen the liquidity pool. Um, I know the exact number. They had in assets last week. I had to sit down and talk to them. They're extremely well balanced in terms of cash management. So if they go under, there's going to be a lot of people going under. They're very
Right.
very impressive. So they're very professional group of guys that are running it, and but yeah, they're solid people over there.
Now, is there KYC on there?
No, there's not.
No KYC on there. I might have to go check them out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but so what are the other platforms that you've got bots trading on right now?
Binance and Qcoin.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think there's not too much risk of those going down either.
Right.
Um, but in the event, some black swan event, obviously you keep pretty much everything in stables, in the USDC. Do you have, like a treasury, uh, a reserve in a multi-sig somewhere that could fully refund the uh, the TVL?
No, not right now. Like I said, we're just now getting to the point where we can back, dollar for dollar for what's actually staked. The plan is once we pass that point, we will build our own treasury, just for that reason, just in case, we have that apocalyptic day,
Mm,
terrible week in trading or what have you. Anything can happen in crypto. So, we want to be prepared. So that's why we're not going to raise it back to 2% or over that 1.5. We want to build that treasury up, that kind of a get out of jail free card stack. So once we get to that point, and it's built up and we can back, at least 50% of what's staked, then we'll think about trying to adjust the divs again. But that's the plan anyways for now.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And so, that kind of actually brings me to, you're talking about apocalyptic events. How big of a heart attack did you have when USDC was crashing?
Um, not really bad. Just because I know, uh, I I knew at the time where uh, Circle had majority of their funds. It wasn't in the Silver, what's it called, Silvergate
Right.
Bank.
Yeah.
They had like I think 20% or something like that. So I saw it kind of drop, and I was just like, that's dumb. Like it's not. They've got a lot of assets that they've already shown proof that they can back the USDC dollar for dollar, and then some. So I wasn't worried about it at all. It was just another fun event that somebody tries
Yeah.
to drown out another crypto Fortune 500 company. So that's all that was.
Did did you take the opportunity to buy the dip on it and
No, just
increase those?
no. I had well, I think I did actually. I think I did do a little. I did do a little arbitrage um, during that evening, but nothing too crazy. I mean, we ended up making a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah. I made a good bid on that whole fiasco.
right.
And so let's talk about the DCA bots. So obviously these DCA bots, you guys are, you're DCAing into certain assets. What are the like the top assets that you are DCAing into, and what is like the long-term goal for these? Is Are these DCA bots going to run up until like the bull run and just add to the portfolio?
Yeah. So we're let's see. I don't have everything in front of me. So we have like I mean we've got a lot of assets. So DCA bots usually run like H bar, some of these smaller coins, um, uh, AVAX, one of them. Um, what was the other one? OP, um, and Cordana. I'm sorry, Cordano is one of them, and there's a couple more. I can't think of the name. They're smaller ones, but they're got a lot of potential. So that's basically what the DCA bots really run for. We try to find these smaller coins that are small cap um,
Hmm.
that do have that potential to make a huge run in the future. Because of say for example we hold them for 6 months. During those 6 months, it runs up 500%. That's a lot of money. So that's basically what the reason for those.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and helps diversify the portfolio, and if one doesn't take off, and the others do, you're still in a good place.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what are going to be, when you finally do take profits on those, is that just going to go back into the vault to, kind of
It'll stay in the
back it,
portfolio
when the
unless we
wood.
need to. Yeah, it'll stay in the portfolio unless we need. We haven't injected one time yet because of our growth has been so consistent that we have not had that opportunity to where we have had to inject money back into the contract to cover any divs. Um, so we've been able to compound this portfolio day in and day out to continue, to help our growth, in that aspect of it. So
Okay.
it's been
So
really
right
nice.
now, a 100% is going back into compounding the portfolio.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
we have not.
So
Yeah, we
yeah,
have not had to. Yeah, we have not had to inject one time. Like I said, our growth has just been consistent every week.
that's awesome, man. And you
Mm-hmm.
said, right now you're almost back to, where you could, back deposits dollar for dollar. Um,
Yep.
and once you get to that point, um, do you plan on just taking, a certain a percentage of that, obviously, and putting it in the treasury and still keep compounding the rest?
Correct.
And, with that treasury, once you get, where you're fully backed dollar for dollar for the deposits, um, and obviously you're going to want to keep growing the treasury itself. Are you going to be looking for any other external investments, uh, or just mainly sticking to the bots? Like, do you
Oh yeah,
maybe plan on branching out into DeFi with, say, some front run bots or something like
yeah.
that,
So,
like a Mev bot?
well, we're fixing to launch our NFTs here in the next, let's say, 2 weeks at least, 3 weeks at most. We haven't had an official date yet, but when those do get released, um, those will give you access to copy trading. So um, basically, anybody that wants to continue making that little extra amount of divs on the side can copy trade exactly what I'm doing and what our bots are doing. That's the other reason why we've had such a great partnership with BitGet. They have a great copy trading system. So um, you'll be able to copy trade off of our main account as we continue to grow the portfolio. And what will happen is the copy trade account will get 10% of the profit from everybody that's been copy trading me. So that'll be another source of revenue. Um, Another source of revenue that we're thinking about doing too is also the NFTs themselves. So when we sell the NFTs, there'll be price tags on them to give you access to that copy trade service through BitGet, and then we're also in the future. It's gonna be pretty big when we do launch it. Um, it's gonna pretty much triple our revenue that we're doing now. Um, I can't go into a lot of detail with it because we haven't announced it. Just mention it a few times during some of these AMAs, but it's our next venture. It's our next part of the ecosystem that we'll integrate our staking platform with. Once we get there, so we're ready to announce the details on it. We'll have a roadmap and all that involved with it, but it's it's going to definitely open up a lot of doors for the community and Wolf Capital. A lot of the revenue, a lot of the profit that will generate from that side will also get tied in with the staking. So we won't be relying solely on trading anymore. It'll be more closer to where trading is going to be like 30% of the profit, and then the rest is going to come from that. So it's going to be huge when we launch. So
I'm I'm sitting here trying to decipher, see if I can figure out exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
Um,
it's just a whole different side. No one's done it yet, and not in, I wouldn't say no one's done it. No one's done it like in DeFi and has reached that kind of scale. And we haven't really made like example like me as the owner. Um, I haven't spent a single dollar off of what I've made off of Wolf Capital yet. Now I'm reinvesting that into the company itself, and so is Ox, and um, so the NFTs are the capital that we need to start that next venture. So everything that I've made, everything the NFTs are going to make, we're going to reapply that into it, reinvest so that way we can start up that next ecosystem, and then it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a banger for sure. I wish I
oh
could
yeah.
like just I want to scream what it is so bad just
I
because
mean,
it's awesome, but
listen,
at the
we
moment,
do like astronauts do like alpha. We never turn away alpha. So if you want to
mm-hmm.
slip up, we can bleep it out or later or something.
No, I
Whatever you
can't
want
do
to
that.
do.
I wish.
All right, so with these NFTs, I mean, this much info you can probably give. With the NFTs, how many are you going to have in the collection, and what is the mint price going to be for these? How much are you
Um,
looking to raise through this NFT mint?
about I think 250K. Don't quote me on that one, but I believe it's going to come out to about 250K. There's three tiers, um, and there's going to be 500 total NFTs. But the three tiers, there's going to be each one of them is going to allow you to do the copy trading, but each tier is going to have a separate perk, and then obviously the top tier is going to be where you're going to be basically a shareholder with the company. So there'll be like we haven't decided on the percentage, but like a 1% profit sharing with whatever profit from our next venture on that ecosystem when it gets pulled out, you'll be granted that 1%.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Well, depending on what the you know what that revenue source is going to be, since somebody doesn't want to tell us.
Yeah.
So I'll say it sounds awesome for now.
Yeah.
I'll have to take your word on it, and maybe. So what? How much are these different tiers going to cost to get the NFTs? So the low tier.
We haven't given out prices yet. That's what we're waiting on right now. All I know is what I told you is set in stone, but the prices we haven't really talked. Really haven't put much stone in. So once we get there, we'll do it.
Yeah. So basically, you have in mind a number that you need to kick off this new revenue source, and the tiers just haven't been decided yet as far as the prices.
Right. Correct.
Okay. And with the NFTs, are these going to add like any staking weight, to your deposit? Are you going to be able to get like maybe an extra, point one,
No,
0.2% on?
no, because we're still aiming to be sustainable and back everything dollar for dollar, and we still have to build treasury. So that's not going to adding more to your stakes is just it's a suicide on our end. So no, we want to make sure we can sustain and continue being sustainable, get back, like I said, dollar for dollar. So that way, this lasts well into the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So who was that earlier? Chris, or yeah, it was Chris that was talking about you might have some kind of fiat on and off ramp coming.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're trying to give the investors access to off ramp into debit cards. It'll work through the site. Once we finish that upgrade, that would be kind of the next side project for us to get started on. But we haven't really worked the details out on it completely. Right now, we're in the process of finishing up making Wolf Capital an actual company and making us legally compliant. So once we finish that part up, we sign on the dotted line. We'll work on giving access to off ramping options because right now we can't until we finish our legal side with the lawyers and make sure we're in compliance. Once we have our entity set up and we've signed on the dotted line, then that'll be our next step.
Okay. Sorry. Excuse me.
No,
So yeah, with this registration, and becoming a legal entity, where are you planning on registering at? What country? I know you're probably U.S. based, but what country are you planning on registering?
It's a tax-free haven, so there's only a few of those in the world. So I just let people kind of Google that one until once we get it. So I don't like to get in the habit of talking until everything's official. Yeah, just because of you get plenty of people in the chat that go, "Hey, you said this," and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So once we finish it, which we're not far away from finishing. So
am I going to legally be allowed to drink in that country?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's not one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It is not Dubai, people. It's not Dubai.
No, it's not Dubai.
Hey, I a little bit late on here, but I gotta say that it's actually legal to drink in Dubai.
Well, yeah, it is legal to drink in Dubai, but it's not legal to be drunk walking down the street
Yeah,
in Dubai.
yeah. In a way,
That's my issue.
depends which area.
Yeah, that's my issue. Um, but yeah, there are many benefits, and there are a couple other places that are tax havens. So,
Yeah.
uh, and you don't really have to. You wouldn't even have to worry about being labeled as a security per se because you don't have a token. So,
Yeah, correct. So the SEC won't be able to touch us, and then that was the main goal why we were wanting to set up entities offshore. So once we have that established and we've signed and it's happened and we've got our documentation, we'll make sure we'll throw an announcement. We'll have something posted on the site and across our social media platforms.
perfect. So, speaking with the attorneys and everything else, and is this going to be this on and off ramp? Is it going to be internal, or are you going to be partnering with a third party to
We'll have to
provide it?
partner with a third party.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. All right. Yeah, because obviously you already know about the licensing.
exactly.
Basically you
Yeah,
have to become a bank
basically.
to
Yeah.
to do that. Is this an already known third party? Uh, are people going to have to KYC to use it?
I'm not really sure.
Or
Ox has been kind of the guy on that front, so he would have more details on it. But I haven't spoken with him a whole lot on that side because we've had about 20 other things pop up that are just kind of a little bit
Ox,
more
if
important. So
right, Ox, if you want to touch on that, if you can.
Yeah, definitely. Can you just repeat it?
Yeah.
it's
So
about the
the
off
yeah,
ramping.
the on ramp, off ramp. Um, is I'm guessing there's a physical card. Are people going to be
Yeah,
KYCing for this?
yeah, definitely. So here's the thing. Currently, we're in communication with an offshore bank to make this possible. Initially, once we do release the off-ramp service for Wolf Capital, it's gonna be just with a virtual card, and further on, we're also gonna have physical cards. Now, regarding the staking, we're not gonna require our users to have KYC, and that's the entire idea of what we're working towards with the um, legal compliance right now and registering the company and everything. But in terms of the debit card and the virtual card, of course, with the off ramp in general, you are gonna have to KYC. So that's a thing. But yeah, it's gonna be something which is gonna come around over the actually over Q3 or Q4 of this year, and actually the cards are gonna be included with the NFTs as well. So basically, for a specific tier, which I'm not gonna mention right now, you're actually gonna get a card as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Boom.
cool.
which otherwise, if you want to get a card, you're gonna have to pay for it. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be a perk for one of the tiers, or
that's
maybe
awesome.
two.
That is awesome. So there's a little bit of alpha, I think.
Oh yeah.
Um, Now this offshore country that the bank is in that you're speaking to, is it a reporting country?
Um, as of right now, I can't really share too much information about it because it's still something which is in the works, And as Trav mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that once we're releasing specific information and details, everything is finalized and the deal is wrapped up. So as of this moment, right now, we're in sort of negotiations to make sure that we get the best deal, of course, obviously, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we get the best deal for our investors as well, because we are responsible for over, like, I believe 1,400 investors, if not even more. But yeah, we for everything that we do, we want to make sure, actually 1,700. We want to make sure that we get the best deals. So once that is finalized, once we get our deal wrapped up with the bank, then we're going to be able to share more info about it. But as of this moment, I really can't share more info.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I know you don't don't speak on something if it isn't already set in stone.
Exactly. One thing which is sure, which is certain, is that we're definitely gonna get that done. That's on our roadmap. It's just a question of who are we going to finalize that with, because we do have options, but we do have something which is like, we do have a specific one which we're looking forward to, and if that gets finalized, we're definitely gonna announce it.
Perfect. Now, theoretically speaking, once this does happen, would there be any kind of transaction fee that would be going back into back into Wolf Capital?
So regarding the off-ramp fees, I'm sure many of you guys already know a lot of other off-ramp services. Here's the thing. With the off-ramping, we want to make sure that we actually bring very competitive fees in regards to these other off-ramp platforms. So the fees are going to be very competitive. They're going to be smaller than the competitors that we have, obviously. Now, in terms of whether some of the fees are going to go back into the staking, that's to be announced. But one thing which is for sure is that the next big thing which Trav was talking about, he was touching about just earlier, that's actually going to be funding the staking as well. So we're actually going to be bringing real world revenue, another stream of revenue to Wolf Capital, to the staking. So it's something which is going to be pretty huge, pretty amazing, and it's definitely going to create a bring something more to DeFi and bring real world revenue. It's going to be really solid.
That's great, man. I think obviously you can't speak on whether it's a reporting country or not, but I would probably, I'm just gonna take a guess and say that it's not. That's just my wild guess and an assumption, because you guys are trying to keep this, DeFi as much as possible, and I think if I'm correct, I think that's probably the way that you guys are looking to go.
Yeah, we do. That's kind of the whole reason why we started the entities, offshore. So the SEC can't mess with us, and we don't have to KYC any of the investors. There was options, and this was by far the best one to handle it. So.
And here's the thing: we want to make sure, as a team, we want to make sure that we do everything the right way, because we want to make everything legit. We want to make everything compliable with law and everything. We just don't want to get wrecked by the SEC, because no matter how legit you are, no matter how good you're doing, and like the intentions that you have, because generally speaking, we've been around for a long while, and we have definitely intentions of bringing value to crypto and DeFi. So with the SEC, we've seen that they've been going after people in crypto, right? So no matter the intentions that they have. Even with the current Coinbase stuff, you guys know what's probably been happening over there. We want to make everything legal, but we just don't want to get wrecked by the ACC because they tend to not work in the direction where they make it easy for people in crypto to bring to do business, to operate business from the US.
Yeah, and Gensler has gotten his ass ripped for it in Congress. So,
well, hopefully he's gonna go home. Hopefully,
yeah, hopefully. But he has made it pretty volatile for the futures market as well. So, that's been pretty profitable for some people with the SEC FUD.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure, as you guys know, running the futures bots and everything, you definitely have probably taken advantage of some of that volatility.
yeah.
And so, who's the one that sets up the calibrates the bots? Who's the one that sets all the parameters? And or
Yeah,
do
I
you
do.
have a professional trader? Okay.
No, I do everything. I've been trading my whole life, so
Yeah.
say whole life since I was about 12 or 13. My dad taught me at a very young age, so pretty much everything I know there. And then it takes years and years and years of practice, and reading these graphs and charts and signals and memorizing, and understanding your ins and outs of the economy and what affects it, what doesn't affect it. What does it mean when you get a half a basis points drop or add a half a basis points to interest rates? What that means for the market? What's the market cap like? Balance sheets. I mean, I've read probably a million of them. So crypto's a lot different because you don't have those balance sheets, which makes it more chart based, and then it's really volatile based off of what the news, what's coming in. So I try to pay attention as much as I can to any kind of news crypto outlets, Twitter mainly, just because a lot of it hits Twitter before it hits anything else, and you'll see a major reaction. So, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And, same. I've been trading for years myself. I actually came from Discord, from teaching people how to trade mainly options. And then I got into crypto and futures, and then I got sucked into DeFi, and here I am in TG. So, uh, but yeah, it is pretty assuring to know that somebody that is experienced is running the trading side of it and setting the parameters for these bots. Um, Now, in the future, is there any plans to invest outside of crypto? Like you said, you were a commodities trader. Are there any plans to invest in any commodities portfolios or
Um,
forex or?
Given the amount of return that we're giving out, it's kind of hard to venture much further outside of basically where we're at now. But having said that, once we get that our next venture, that second ecosystem running, um, that'll open up a lot more doors into what we're able to invest uh, in our extra capital. I do have a strong will for venture capital loans, especially for entrepreneurships. So if there's something tied into crypto that's, maybe an entrepreneur that kind of shares that same vision that I do, or like Ox does, and would be something straightforward and great for Wolf Capital, and that's something we'd look into. Um, but we would have to have a lot of extra capital on the side before, uh, starting something up like that, just because of the amount of return that is
Right.
needed daily. Um, you know, we'd have to match that, and you can't
Yeah.
necessarily do that with a venture capital loan or venture capital loan system for entrepreneurs, but you can in the longer run. But it's not something that we would have to start up and then try to rely on or add that into the mix right now. It would be something further down the road.
Yeah, it would have to be, just extra capital that you had in reserve after your treasury is full. Um, all right, so let's just walk real quick, and I think I'll open it up for some questions after this. So real quick, so somebody joins in the TG, they check the white paper, they like it, they get on there, they join a wolf pack, um, and they start staking some USDC. Um, when the deposits, the ROI is daily. So are they able to withdraw those returns daily, or is that on a weekly basis?
It's a weekly basis, so every 7 days you're able to claim um, your divs, and then there's a claim all function. So if you have multiple stakes, you can use that claim all to pull all your stakes divs, and then because a lot of the community right now is doing that 50-50 strategy where they pull 50% of their divs and they reinvest 50%. Uh,
Mhm.
our top wolf packs started that day one, so everybody's been pretty much doing that. I would not say everybody. I say probably solid at least 75% is doing that in the community. So that's really keeps the contract healthy. Really helps us out, provide that 1.5% from our end covering that, and then like I said, also keeps the contract healthy. So, um, but once you hit the claim, you get it, and then
Cap.
if you don't do it within 10 days, you stop accumulating divs. You have to go in there. You have to claim, uh, your divs. Once you do, they'll start over your 7 day count, and you'll start accumulating divs again.
Okay. And when people do compound and you know reinvest their dividends, um, does that start over the locking period? Does that start over your 60 days
Yeah, that'll
or
that'll create a new stake for 60 days.
okay. All right. So
It's not a
so
compound feature. We
essentially,
don't have we don't have
yeah.
compound features with Wolf Capital. You just have a choice. You can either do 50-50 or not. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, it's up to the community to decide what they want to do as an individual investor. Um,
Mm,
but that's kind of part of our attitude from the start was work together as teams, because you're working with your wolf pack to be the top. So,
right.
but that's kind of why the DeFi Snipers Club Wolfpack's been at the top from day one, is because they've started at 50-50, and so they're reinvesting half their divs, showing you know that they're bringing in a lot more. So that's why they're winners of that lottery majority of those weeks, is because of that 50-50 strategy.
Now, when they reach that certain, the certain dollar value of uh, investment, when they reach that cap, what happens then? They can they still go 50-50, or do they have to just start pulling all of their divs?
No, yeah, they can start doing 50-50.
Okay, so you can, you know, go over the cap once your wolf pack is filled. You just
Yeah,
can't add any more new
new
investors
investors,
to the
unless they
pack.
have a referral link. Correct.
Okay.
If they have the referral link, they can get in.
Okay. I think I might have to start a pack.
Yes, sir.
Um, and so the 10 levels of wolf packs. How do you move up in levels? So you're starting off with
My
1%
phone's just about to.
at the lowest level, and how do you move up to the next levels?
Ox, do you want to take that for a second? I gotta do something real quick.
Definitely. So yeah, just like you said it, we have 10 Wolfpack levels where um, on every 10 members that you get on your Wolfpack and every $5,000 that is on the total team stake, your daily percentage increases by 0.05%. And currently the base percent is starting off at 1% and goes up to 1.5% for the level 10 teams. It's pretty simple and easy to understand. The entire idea is that with the concept that we've created with Wolf Capital is that everybody gets a fair ground, and basically the incentive is for everybody, because when your wolf pack gets 1.5%, for instance, it's everybody on that team that receives 1.5% daily. Completely new concept, which is definitely pushing the narrative for team working. And I believe that as a whole, DeFi should be about working together. So it's definitely something which I believe so far we have managed to bring value with to DeFi as well, because it's definitely something genuine.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then you're going to have the NFTs, which are going to have other utilities attached to those. Going to have the fiat on ramp, off ramp. Um, so there are future utilities coming, but as it stands right now, you have a fully functional and proven system for daily returns for ROI for
Yeah,
investors.
and not only that it's proven, but also so far 83 days in, we have actually paid out. Let me just verify this real quick.
What you said, like 1.3 million?
1.3, yeah, 1.3 million USD, USDC we have paid out so far in 83 days. And here's the thing. Unlike most of the other dApps where, yeah, they have been paying out a lot, there have been some that have been, but eventually they fail. And here's why they fail, because they fail to actually back their yield. And what we have managed to achieve with Wolf Capital, on one hand, we have managed to prove that complete transparency is completely achievable, which therefore, um, you know, disproves all the previous BS excuses from teams when they were making excuses on why they can't show their external revenue. And also, we have proven that it's completely possible to actually back your yield. And we're gonna continue to the entire concept, the entire idea that we have is we want to bring value to DeFi. We've been doing that for the past 83 days, and not only the past 83 days, because we're not here since yesterday. I mean, we've been long before Wolf Capital was started. We're around in DeFi, and that's the entire idea that we have. We're passionate about DeFi. We want to bring value. We want to bring transparency and positivity, because myself and Trav, we truly believe that DeFi gives power back to people. So we're going to continue to do that. Definitely putting in a lot of hard work, passionate work. And so far, what we've managed to achieve in as little as 83 days is just spectacular, I might say. Not only in terms of return of investment, but also as, what we have managed to prove to DeFi, to the DeFi space and the general community that things can be done in the right way. And in that sort, we have risen the standards both for other teams, inspiring them to be more transparent and to up their game, and also we have roles and the standards for the investors, because right now, as far as I see, things, investors actually ask those other projects they're invested in to be completely transparent, and I believe that's remarkable because it's definitely having impact in DeFi. So that's something that we want to do.
Yeah. And so just real quick, on the subject of transparency, with you guys trading on multiple centralized exchanges, how do you keep everything transparent with the investors? Like
So
how do
here's the
they
thing.
know exactly?
Yeah, completely. So here's the thing. Uh, for the most part, all of our bots, they're probably Trev already went over this, but they're going through 3 commas, and basically
Hmm.
you input the API from the several exchanges that we're using. You input it into 3 commas, and that's where the bots are operating from, and they actually send live, like in real time, updates in the trading channel.
Hmm.
And in terms of the manual trades that Trav does, like these are our bigger trades, Trav shares them on the trades channel as well. But yeah, everything has been completely transparent so far, and we're even gonna continue to improve on the transparency side, because with our most recent updates, which is upcoming the following week, we're also gonna be showing our portfolio balance in real time. Like basically, it's gonna be updated every 24 hours. So
Hmm.
it's definitely something
Yeah, in
which is
which
not
you can
easy.
show and you
Yeah,
can show, the incoming and outgoing transactions on, say if there was a withdrawal. Obviously, that's coming from a
actually,
hot
we
wallet.
have been showing all of them. We have been showing all of
Yeah.
them already. Like for instance, since the very beginning of Wolf Capital, every transaction that we have done with investors' funds has been completely disclosed. Like there is literally not a single transaction which hasn't been disclosed. And yeah, but what I'm saying is that um, with with the upcoming update, we're actually gonna be showing like the actual portfolio balance every 24 hours. It's gonna be updated. The number is gonna be updated on the app.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think especially with something like this, full transparency is always key. Now, once you have that that full reserve, that full treasury that backs the TVL dollar for dollar, then it probably alleviates a lot of a lot of people's concerns or anything like that. But still, keeping it transparent as much as you can is always the best way to go, in my opinion.
100%. And I gotta say, with whatever we have done with Trav, even before Wolf Capital, we've been completely transparent as well. Like we're again, I'm probably repeating myself too much, but we're not like here since yesterday. Where the case is, what with most DeFi projects, like you see people creating new Telegram and Discord accounts appearing out of the blue, like literally yesterday,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
they talk about how they've been working on their platform for months, where most likely they just did a fork, not a 100% original code like Wolf Capital. But yeah, we've been around for a while. We've proven to be solid, not only with Wolf Capital, but before that as well. Like, for instance, myself, I'm on Monarch. I'm on the Monarch team. If you don't know about Monarch app, it's basically a DeFi DApp listing website, basically
oh
the
yeah,
OG. Yeah,
I know all about Moonarch.
yeah, and I'm on there on a daily basis as well. Like, the community knows me, and they know what I'm about. I'm about delivering value to the space, and Trav is the same. So um going for, like, here's the thing, like, just 83 days in, currently we're at around, so let me just see the most recent number. I believe it's 3.9 mil invested in Wolf Capital, and given the fact that we're just getting started with this, Like it's just I envision the project like, for example, let's say in a couple of months from now, where we know actually, since we are working so many things, what more value we're gonna bring. So it's definitely having a very huge upside potential. But most importantly, like on every aspect that we work, we want to make sure that everything is done in a solid way. That's why we're not rushing things. Like earlier, I mentioned with the off ramp and with this big upcoming scale and expansion of Wolf Capital, we want to share everything like step by step, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we're
definitely.
just getting started. We're just getting started, and what we've achieved so far with 3.9 million in just around 2 months, it's insane.
That is insane, man. And that's definitely one hell of a return in just a couple months, or one hell of an investment. 3.9 mil, yeah, invested so far, and you've got people doing the 50-50, so that number just keeps growing. Um, that is a pretty major feat there, man. So you guys are definitely on the right track. Uh, I'd love to see a little bit more of the diversification with the other utilities. Um, the trading bots. Yeah, I love. I'm a trader myself, so I love that aspect. But yeah, I do like diversification and
The
in
diversification, I
investment
100%.
portfolios. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Diversification is key, no matter in which field of finance and investing in general. Diversification is key, and definitely, having these amounts of investment so far, it comes with a lot of responsibility. So that's why we're very careful with each move that we make. Uh,
Yeah.
we we actually currently have an ongoing like work on an optimization bot that is going to be running back tests every 24 hours to test the strategies, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, for which we brought in another person, which is an expert with bots. So we tend to work with professionals because, like, in a sense, probably you've seen how with some of these projects, a lot of money is lost, and then the team comes up with some BS excuse, right? Um, so we're not about excuses. We're about delivering solid work and working hard for that. So we tend to work with professionals, everybody in his own field. Like for instance, Travis super solid with trades. That's why he's handling the trades. I'm super
Hmm.
solid on the end when it comes to contracts and user interface. I believe what we've managed to deliver on each side for Wolf Capital so far has been really professional and really solid, because both our yield is covered and also our user experience is, I would say, very good. Like we've managed to address and you know come forward, fix all issues in a very timely manner. Also, our UI is super simple and easy to understand, even for newcomers to DeFi, because at the end of the day, that's also one of our ideas where we want to, make Wolf Capital a starting point for people that are just coming into DeFi. Like we want to make it simple to those people, that kind of audience. And yeah, we're just gonna continue to improve.
That's awesome, man. One very last question. I'm gonna open it up to the community. Is there any minimum amount that somebody can invest into a
Yeah,
into a
yeah.
starting?
The minimum amount is very basic. Like you can literally start off with $10 initially.
Okay.
it was $50, but we decreased it because we encourage following a 50-50% strategy. So you can imagine, like, we wanted to make it accessible, like the 50-50% strategy to everybody. So even for people which are with a smaller bag, so that they can invest, like, reinvest $10 as well. So yeah, the minimum investment starts off at $10, and the maximum is 100K. And also basically the max wallet is 100K, because we don't
Right.
want one user to deposit more. But you know how it goes. Like, anybody can create a secondary wallet and just deposit with that one. There's no
Yeah, definitely.
mechanic that I've personally came up with over the past couple of years to prevent whales from aping more, that you can set a parameter. Like, for example, on the contract, you can definitely set like a max for a specific wallet, but you can't track that
There's
user
nothing.
and prevent him to
There's
deposit
nothing
another wallet.
stopping them from giving themselves the referral through an alt. So
Yeah, I've been
and
thinking about
another
it a
wallet.
lot, and there's no actual way to prove whether another wallet is that same person's. So yeah,
Yeah, no.
there's no way preventing whales.
Un- unless they're unless they're not very smart and just send from one wallet to the next. Uh, but
But even still,
yeah,
they can afterwards they can say that it's their friend or their brother or, or whatever. You know what I
yep.
mean?
Oh, I know. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I've been dealing with this for quite a while, and I've been trying to figuring it out. I've been literally putting hours into figuring out how I can work in that direction, but so far I haven't figured it out.
No, short of grabbing IP addresses, you're not really going to be able to. We're KYCing people, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of out of your hands. But
Yeah.
again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's no reason why somebody shouldn't invest 100K in one wallet and another 100K in another. It's not. They're still getting the same return as anybody else would.
Exactly, and that's something really important because, like I mentioned earlier, the entire idea for Wolf Capital is for everybody to be equal. Whereas you've seen projects where basically influencers get a incentive, like they basically get higher percentage than the rest of the regular investors, in a way, such as with some of the miners, not mentioning any specific names, but your percentage was getting increased depending on how much referrals you got, or with
Yeah,
high referral fees. And none of that is existent in Wolf Capital. So the entire idea is that
good.
we make a fair ground for everybody, whether it's a regular investor, a whale, or a YouTuber. If your favorite YouTuber that you have joined his Wolf pack is at 1.5% daily, you're also going to build 1.5% daily, which is completely fair because you're all working towards that.
Exactly. It's not a Ponzi. It's not a pyramid. Which I wouldn't even have you guys on here for an AMA if it was. So that's
And you
one
have a
thing I
huge
do
up
like
from
about
me
that.
for and you have a huge up from me for handling business in this way, because there has been a lot of um, Telegram channels, groups, and YouTubers that have been giving platform to teams which don't have
Yeah,
their investors' best interests in mind, and they're just after getting rich quickly, in a sense. So I would definitely, again, much respect for that, because I do support people like you that actually do their own due diligence before inviting somebody for an AMA, or giving them a platform.
yeah. Thank you. Um, and sometimes I will bring people on and I will tear them apart. So there's the there's a fine line. Um, and if this would have went, yeah, obviously I already looked into it. I knew it wasn't a pyramid. So, but if it would have went that route during the AMA, then yeah, I probably would have ripped into you.
And that's the right way. And that's the right way. Here, from my point of view, let me tell you things. So, um, I personally believe that all of us in the space, regardless whether it's like a dev or a influencer, like a YouTuber or regular investor or well, I believe all of us should do our fair share towards working together on, you know, bringing more transparency in DeFi, bringing more value, and actually supporting the genuine and legit people that want to do good for DeFi, and most importantly, not to think as um, exit liquidity for newcomers, because many people
hmm
still, you know, they consider newcomers to DeFi as exit liquidity. That's not the narrative that we're trying to push. And sometimes I do call out other projects, and that's really rare. Usually it's without even calling names. But here's the thing. I like, obviously I'm core team on Wolf Capital. Like I'm on the founding team, but I do support other projects as well. Like I do my fair share besides Wolf Capital of supporting people that want to do good for DeFi. Like for instance, the Fortune Hunters team, they have been pretty solid, and they have the same vision. They're passionate about DeFi. They want to bring value, so I support them. I gain nothing from that. So, you know, I would support anybody who wants to do good for DeFi, regardless if it's gonna be beneficial for me, because, you know, like I think of DeFi as something which is great. Like I said, it's definitely giving power back to people. So we should all do our fair share for that. So yeah, that's why you have an up from me.
Thanks, man. Thank you. And I think, a lot of people, especially just the most recent one, I'd say would be like AMM or Ocean. Um, both of those people were shilling those to me left and right, trying to get me to use their referral links. Or, you know, you give me my own referral link and this and that to give out to people, and I refused. And I told them, like, look, be careful because you are going to get rugged at some point. And they all did. But at least I did my part and told them what was going to happen because we've seen it all a million times.
Yeah, 100%. And here's the thing with that project, AMM. Actually, a friend of mine showed it to me because I also do invest in projects. Like, besides doing projects, I invest in them as well. So, a friend of mine, E Swift, I'm not sure if you know her. She showed like that specific project to me a while back. I believe it was last year around November, October, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I, off the bat, I told her that it's a complete Ponzi. Like, if you actually have an arbitrage bot, because that's what they have been saying that they will, like, backs
Uh-huh.
their yields. Um, it's gonna be a DEX arbitrage bot, right? They were saying that they have a DEX arbitrage bot, and if you actually have a DEX arbitrage bot, there is no issue in you providing the actual transactions of the arbitrage trades, right?
Exactly. You should have a
And they,
bot going off in your chat
yeah,
each time a
exactly.
trade is made.
Yeah, even not in your chat, like a separate chat, just so that you don't spam your chat. But yeah, exactly. And here's the thing,
Yeah.
I immediately cut it off as BS because I've been working myself on a DEX arbitrage bot for, I believe, so far it's been almost half a year actually. It's been quite a long of time, and it's definitely not an easy task because, like, you got to configure everything correctly. You got to find the right pairs to make arbitrage on. And, like, for instance, the bot that I'm working on, it executes only profitable trades. So it calculates them profitable trades and reverts them, pays only the gas fee. There is a lot of like a lot of work going into an arbitrage bot, and you just can't come around like with an arbitrage within a month and say like it's super solid. Like, literally right now I'm still working on it, and I want to implement it in Wolf Capital so that we put the little funds that we held on the TVL as well. I want to put them to work because we want to make the entirety of the funds working and generating revenue. But before doing that, I want to make sure that everything is solid. Again, this is like in the works for around half a year. even before we started working on Wolf Capital. So, it's definitely something which is not easy, and it's super hilarious when these projects come around and out of the blue they say that they have something which they've been working on a long time.
Nice. Oh, I see Southern Comet. So um, I'm gonna have to discount. I'm gonna have to take some credit away from you.
Sorry, what?
No, I see Southern Comet who commented in chat. Nice to wake up to Papa Trav and Ox.
You're making fun of me, Poppa.
Apparently, yeah, I am. There he is.
Oh, I'm listening over the coffee, mate.
All right, so I'm going to open it up to some questions from the community. We've got one in chat. Zenta asked, "How does Wolf Capital ensure the security and sustainability of its platform, particularly in the light of recent high-profile DeFi attacks?"
Great. That's a great question, Zenta. So here's the thing. Actually, about a month ago or a little bit over that, I believe it's already, a friend project of ours got DDoS, for instance. They got taken down, which actually brings me back some memories from 2010, 2012, because it's really hilarious to DDoS nowadays. But back when that happened, so we took serious measures to increase, the security of our servers with multiple layers. Whereas if one of our servers gets taken down, it's just going to be back up on a different server, which is completely fine. So we're going to be back up and running. And in terms of our smart contract, everything that we do in terms of Solidity smart contracts is heavily being back tested on testnet. So Wolf Capital is super solid in terms of the contract, which, by the way, we have a proxy contract due to reasons that about 2 weeks ago or something like that, we migrated to a proxy contract, about 1,200 wallets, which were the amount of users that we had back then. Pretty significant job. And why we did that? Because we want to be able to work on scalability of Wolf Capital and basically keep up with the innovations in DeFi without having to migrate users again to a different contract, which is going to be time taking. With 1,200 wallets, it took us about 5 to 6 hours. You can imagine how it's going to be with, let's say, 3,000, 4,000 wallets, which that's where I see us in a month or so. Not a month, but maybe like 1-2 months, something like that. So we have the proxy contract, which as well it's heavily back tested to make sure that there is no exploits. And in addition, we have also introduced a multi-sig, whereas for every withdrawal from the contract that has to be injected into, migrated into one of the exchanges that we're using, the transaction has to be signed by both myself and Trav. Otherwise, it's not going to go through. So yeah, we're pretty solid in terms of security and hacks, and we're gonna continue to improve in that direction, because I also think that's pretty important. But yeah, great question, Zenta.
Thank you. And it is pretty hard to hack into a multi-sig, especially.
Well,
I'm assuming you're not anywhere living near Trav, so I don't think
no.
your devices are going to be together at any point for somebody to be able to hack you both at the same time.
Well, here's the thing. I'm in Europe. He's in the US, so yeah, it's going to be quite a difficult task. Yeah, it's going to be quite a difficult task. But not only the multi-sig, we have other contingency prevention measures which are in place, which I cannot discuss due to security reasons, but we have other layers of security which are just between myself and Trav, which are the core team, which obviously we can't discuss everything because we want to make sure that investors' funds are safe. But yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
do
you
have
don't want to
multiple security tiers.
you don't want to give somebody, any info that could possibly give them something to exploit. So
Exactly, and I gotta say, so far there have been tries to take us down or to exploit us, and all of them have been pretty unsuccessful, and that makes people mad. So I'm not gonna give them like an upstart and tell them about our security.
yeah, probably best not to do that. All right, are there any other questions from the community? I think we might have talked about a little of everything.
Unfortunately, we lost Trav, by the way, because
Yeah.
his phone died.
Oh, all right. Oh, no problem. I think you wrapped it up pretty nicely, anyways.
I
There's
came
no
a
other
little bit late.
questions.
Yeah, I came a little bit late, but better late than never, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, if there's no other questions, I'm going to ask you to give us final closing statement and um, yeah, tell us, one last time why somebody should join the Wolf Pack.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first, I want to thank you for giving us a platform again, for having us on here. And I gotta say, nothing of which we have discussed is financial advice, guys. Um, I would definitely say that to everybody, take all the information that was discussed during the process of the AMA, everything that we have discussed on here, and just analyze it and think about it and check our numbers because all of our numbers are available. Do your own due diligence. Check our uh, background because we've been around for a while. Like there's definitely history of what we've been doing out there. Run the numbers. The numbers are definitely gonna make sense to you. Just in general, do your own due diligence, and investing in Wolf Capital is definitely gonna make sense to every single one of you. And one thing that I recently said is that investing in Wolf Capital right now in DeFi, it's definitely like being the wise man that built his house on the rock, because when the floods came and the winds blew, the house built on the rock stood still, and the house which was built on the sands, it fell really bad. So definitely be careful where you invest your funds, and I believe that you're gonna definitely check the marks with Wolf Capital. So yeah, looking forward to see you guys on there. And if anybody has any questions that you didn't get to ask during the AMA, everybody's welcome to ask us on our group, either in Wolf Capital on Telegram or on Discord, or we hold these weekly AMAs where you can just talk to us as well, our community VCs. So yeah, everybody's welcome to join us.
Yeah, and actually, one of my community members actually came over and won the trivia in your Discord the other night.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool. Loving life. He's listening in right now. So he headed over there and won the trivia. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and sharing. Um, Everybody else, go check out all the socials, TG, Discord. Get over there and do some research, and I might possibly put out a little announcement and see if some people want to join an Astronaut Lounge Wolf Pack. So let's get this money, people. All right, it's been another awesome AMA at Astronaut Lounge. We had Wolf Capital, Ox. Thank you so much. Tell Trav thank you for coming, and Kira, thank you for setting it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on here, and definitely looking forward to being on here again in the future. You have a very amazing community, so looking forward to it. And so thank you all for joining us.
Thanks, man. And we